Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist, and today we're going to be doing a Battlin Boxer deck profile. So I'm really excited to do this one because this deck is a really powerful XZ based deck that can actually summon some really amazing XZ monsters in this particular deck. It's super fun to be able to play around with and really easy to learn because basically they're making rank 4s all over the place, which is really fun to be able to do. I've given it some major upgrades since the previous build because I really wanted to incorporate a little bit more of link summoning in this deck to be able to give you a little bit more versatility, but it's an overall really amazing fun deck. So without further ado guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards, like getting your name description during a single video, getting a signed card in the mail, and even getting to request a deck profile every single month to your patron along with test hands. So without further ado, let's get straight on into this. So first off, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Battlin Boxer Switch Hitter. So Battlin Boxer Switch Hitter is a really cool card that has the ability that when this card is normal summon, you can target a Battlin Boxer monster in the graveyard and special summon that monster to your side of the field, but you cannot special summon any monsters the turn you activate this effect except for Battlin Boxers, which is not that big of a deal because this card isn't the end all be all of the deck. Like if you don't get this effect off and you don't use the effect, it's not that big of a deal. You have other effects in the deck, but being able to just normal summon this card and special summon another level 4 from the grave can be really helpful. We then play 3 copies of Battlin Boxer Glassjaw. Glassjaw is pretty good in the deck too because when this card is targeted for an attack and immediately destroys itself, oh wait, that's the bad effect. The really good effect is when this card is sent to the graveyard by a card effect, you can target one Battlin Boxer in your graveyard and add it back to your hand, so it can help you recover your other Battlin Boxers back from the graveyard to be able to go into additional plays. We then play 2 copies of Battlin Boxer Shadow. Battlin Boxer Shadow has the ability that during the main phase, you can detach a material from a Battlin Boxer XZ you control, and if you do, you special summon this card from your hand to give you an additional level 4 on your side of the field to go in for more plays. We then play 3 copies of Battlin Boxer Headgear. Battlin Boxer Headgear has the ability that basically when on summon it's a Foolish Burial, that you can send a Battlin Boxer monster from your deck to the graveyard, and then once per turn, when this face-up card is attacked, it can't be destroyed by battle, which is pretty good to be able to protect it from one battle. We then play 3 copies of Battlin Boxer Sparer. This card is pretty good because you can special summon itself to your side of the field. It has the ability that if you control a Battlin Boxer monster, you can special summon this card from your hand, and if you do, you cannot conduct your battle phase for the rest of the turn, which is a pretty good effect, especially if you're going first. You're just getting a free special summon, and if you have multiples of these, you can just special summon multiples of these to your side of the field to get you some really good XZ plays with just one normal summon as well. We then play a single copy of Battlin Boxer Veil. Battlin Boxer Veil is an okay card in this deck, that when you take battle damage, you can special summon this card from your hand if you do gain the life points that you just took. So I bumped this down from 2 to 1 from the previous build because I really felt like I was already in a losing state when I used this card. And so I'm just using it as a little bit of a recovery to get me an additional level 4 on my side of the field. We're then playing a single copy of Counterpunch. Counterpunch is really good because it's basically a hand trap that's a battle trap. Because during the damage step, if another, or during either player's turn, when a Battlin Boxer monster you control is attacked or being attacked, you can banish this card from your hand or graveyard, and then that monster gains 1,000 attack, which is pretty good. We then play 3 copies of Fire Flint Lady, which was not in the previous build, but basically what this card does is if you control a warrior monster, you can special summon it from your hand to get you additional plays, to get you into some link plays, which is really helpful. I play a single copy of Immortal Phoenix Guilford. Immortal Phoenix Guilford is really good in this deck. I really underestimated this card and didn't include it in the previous build, but since I'm playing an Isolde variant of this deck, this card is really insane. So basically what this card does is you banish an equip spell from the graveyard, you special summon this card from your hand to your side of the field, and at the end of the start of the damage step this card attacks, you can equip one face-up monster on the field to this card, maximum 1, is an equip spell that gives it additional 500 attack, and then when a monster effect is activated, quick effect, you can send an equip spell that you control to the graveyard to negate the activation if you destroy it, and you can only use each effect this card once per turn. This card is really easy to search. Usually this is the card that I grab off the Isolde to be able to summon it during the next follow-up turn because I've already got a bunch of equip spells in the graveyard to be able to summon this card basically for free as an additional boss monster, because basically first turn is setup, second turn is setup, second turn is basically popping off to be able to OTK, and this card is really good and really easy to search. We then play 2 copies of Hat Trigger because Hat Trigger is a monster that you can special summon to your side of the field if 2 or more monsters on the field to just get you an additional level 4 to go in for some really good plays. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to be playing a single copy of Double or Nothing because it's really amazing to be able to play Battlin Boxers with Utopia because they were kind of like the rivals, like the guy who played Battlin Boxers and Yuma and Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal were kind of the rivals, but being able to play this in your deck is really nice because you could basically just OTK your opponent with a 10,000 attack point Utopia. Play a single copy of Called by the Grave because Called by the Grave is really helpful to be able to just stop your opponent's hand traps. And then for the equip spells, we're going to be playing a single copy of Overdone Burial. Overdone Burial is really helpful to be able to activate this card, discard a card from your hand, and then target a monster in your graveyard whose level is lower than the discarded monster, and then you special summon it to your side of the field. You can really get out Fire Flint Lady really easily out of the graveyard with this effect if you need to, but it's an overall pretty good card. We then play a single copy of Living Fossil, which is basically Monster Reborn, a single copy of Divine Sword Phoenix Blade, because Phoenix Blade is just really fun to play in this deck because the Phoenix Blade can banish monsters from the graveyard to add it back to your hand, which can help out the Immortal Phoenix Guilford. We play a single copy of Moon Mirror Shield because Moon Mirror Shield helps out the deck a lot, because if you play Moon Mirror Shield, if you equip it to a monster, it's always going to be 100 attack points higher than the monster it's battling. We play a single copy of the Broken Bamboo Sword because you play a Bamboo Sword engine in here. 3 copies of Cursed Bamboo Sword because when this card is sent to the graveyard, you get to add a Bamboo Sword card from your deck to your hand. And if you go into Isolde, you can add a copy of Golden Bamboo Sword from your deck to your hand, which is a draw 2 on activation, which is really nice as long as you control a copy of a Bamboo Sword on your side of the field. And you can stack this card multiple times to be able to get you multiple draws, which is really cool. 2 copies of Battlin Box and Spirit. You send a card off the top of your deck to the graveyard and then target a Battlin Boxer in your graveyard and special summon it in defense position. Works really nice with Bamboo Sword because if you send Bamboo Sword to the graveyard, you can then get another copy of Golden Bamboo or Broken Bamboo from deck to hand, which is super helpful for this particular deck. And then we play 3 copies of Rank Up Magic Numeron Force. Numeron Force also helps out in the deck a lot to be able to go into your Chaos Xyz monsters. It's super, super, super helpful to use this card to go into any of your Chaos Xyz in this particular deck. I really like playing this card in this deck because you can use this card so easily in this particular build to go into all those different monsters like 101 at Cylon Dark and number 105, the Comet Cestus Xyz, which is pretty cool. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we're going to be playing 2 copies of number 79, Battlin Boxer Nova Kaiser. Nova Kaiser is pretty good because it has the ability that once per turn, you can detach a material from, or you can attach a Battlin Boxer monster from your hand or graveyard to this card as a material. And then this card gains 100 attack for each XZ material attached to this card. And then when this card you control is destroyed by your opponent's monster, or when this card is destroyed by an opponent's monster by battle or by card effect, then you can send to the graveyard. You can target one level 4, or you can target level 4 or lower Battlin Boxer monsters in the graveyard up to the number of XZ materials this card had, and special summon those targets. So it basically replaces itself, which is really, really nice. We then play Double Lead Yoke as well. Double Lead Yoke, if this card is going to be destroyed at all by battle or by card effect, you can detach a material with this card, and then it gains 800 attack, which is pretty good to be able to just deal with this card. It's really hard to deal with this card sometimes because it can go to 3,800 and it just constantly is like, nope, I'm not going to go. Nope, I'm not going to go. And it's really amazing to be able to summon this card to your field. We then play a single copy of number 105, Battlin Boxer Star Cestus. Star Cestus is one of the cards that we're going to be using with the Astro Force, or not Astro Force, but Numeron Force. And this card is really good too. Like when you use this on your side of the field, basically what this card does is during either player's damage step, if a Battlin Boxer monster you control battles an opponent's monster, you detach a material from this card, negate the effect of an opponent's monsters until the end of the turn, and that monster you control cannot be destroyed by battle, and also monster your opponent control takes any battle damage you would have taken from that battle as well, which is pretty good because you do play some Battlin Boxer monsters that have lower attack, and this card can be really handy. If you upgrade it, however, into C105, and I forgot to mention also that if you use your copy of Numeron Force, it does Cold Wave the field and negates every other face-up card on the field's effects. So this card's really, really good as well to go into this card. So what this card does is when this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, inflict damage to your opponent equal to half that opponent's monster's original attack. And if this card has a number 105 as a material, you also gain the ability that once per turn you can detach a material from this card to target one monster your opponent controls and destroy it. And if you do, inflict damage to your opponent equal to that monster's original attack it had on the field. So basically, can punch for 1 and then pop for 1 as well, which is really good. 1 copy of 101 because it can take your opponent's monsters, and the number C101 because it can also take your opponent's monsters and equip them as a material. And it's really easy to summon on top of with your copy of your Numeron Force, which is really, really, really cool. It also has the ability that you can basically bring itself back, and then you gain life points if you have a C1 or if you have 101 in the graveyard, it can bring itself back and you gain life points equal to its attack. This card's really hard to deal with We play a single copy of Utopia and a single copy of Utopia Double because you can basically summon Utopia Double, detach a material, grab double or nothing, summon Utopia. Utopia comes out at 5,000, attack your opponent for 5,000, drop double or nothing, negate the attack, drop double or nothing, and then immediately do 10,000 attack points on your copy of Utopia. Attacking again for the 10,000 is really, really good. For the generic XZs, we're playing a single copy of Exciton Knight to blow a board, one copy number 60 to draw 2, discard 1. Since it is an XZ deck, we are playing Zeus. You can cut this if you're trying to build this deck on a budget. It is an option for you guys as well. If you want to play any of the other C101s or the C numbers that are I believe it's like 101 to 107, you can play any of those. Or you can play any C number as well in this deck because this card is really good to help you go into those monsters if you want to play it over any of these generic ones. It does help out the deck a little bit though if you play the Zeus because the Zeus can board wipe. And then we play double Awalt because Awalt is really, really good in this deck to be able to send your Bamboo Sword Engine to the graveyard and some of your other equip spells to the graveyard to then special summon out another level 4 to go into one of your other level 4 monsters and search your copy of the Immortal Phoenix Gearfried. So that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you did enjoy it. It's a really fun deck to be able to play with. I really, really enjoy playing with this deck. It was actually my first deck profile on the channel ever. To be able to play Battlin Boxers, which I thought was really cool. And so I'm really love that I can still do this deck. Like, I think it was like 2014 when I first did my first deck profile, or 2015 when I did my first deck profile. So it's been a while that I've been doing this, like 6 or 7 years. So if you guys don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can come part of notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon in the description below. And we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.